Hey, Stewart's Chapel. This is Don Pierson, and this is Saturday's devotion. And this is the last one I'm going to do on Matthew chapter 9. Now, I'm sure I could think of some others, but be honest with you, as you've noticed, my attention span gets very short after I've done these for a while. But I do think I really want to end strong. I actually think that this one is probably more applicable to most of us. So let's look at the scripture, Matthew chapter 9, verse 27 through 31. When Jesus departed from there, 2 blind men followed him, crying out and saying, Son of David, have mercy on us. And when he had come into the house, the blind men came to him, and Jesus said to them, Do you believe that I am able to do this? They said to him, Yes, Lord. Then he touched their eyes, saying, According to your faith, let it be to you. And their eyes were open. There's more to the scripture, but you've already got this scripture memorized by now. Jesus' question to these 2 blind men was, Do you believe that I am able to do this? And they didn't hesitate. They said, Yes, Lord. And that is supposed to be our answer to all of our this when we present it to the Lord. If the Lord begins to look at us and challenge us and say, Do you believe I can really do this? The answer should be, Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Every now and then I'll hear someone say, will say, Yes, Lord, and they will add, If it be thy will. Now, I understand that, and I actually appreciate it. And there's times when I will say that, if it be thy will. It's interesting that these 2 blind men didn't say that. I want to tell you something, that when God asks you this question, He's already decided that it's His will. He's really trying to figure out whether you believe it's His will or not. And that's the struggle. I think some people use the phrase, If it be thy will, to kind of give God a way out. God doesn't need a way out. When God challenges you and confronts you this specifically, He expects the kind of answer that He got there, an answer filled with faith that clearly says, Yes, Lord. And so I want to deal with this last one in this way. Is there a storm in your life? A storm in your life that you think is so big, raging so much, that you believe you're going to go down with the ship and it's too big for the Lord? Is that your this? Is there a demon, a Satan? And lately I've had so many conversations about this. I don't know whether it's because of going through the miracles on Sunday morning and so many of them dealing with individuals that were dealing with demonic forces, oppression, or possession. But either way, I've been constantly asked or heard confessions of individuals that believe that they're dealing with demons. And for some of them, that oppression or that attack has been so long and so tense that some of them struggle with being able to believe that the Lord can do anything about it. You understand that when you say that, you're basically making Satan and his demons greater than God. So is there a storm? A storm of maybe by your own making or of someone else's making, or maybe it's a storm that God has led you into, a demon that you're dealing with. Perhaps it's a valley that you've entered in. You almost feel like you fell off the cliff and you are surrounded in this valley. Yesterday, we took our kids to one hiking, and this area had been hewn out by this waterfall through the decades, probably centuries, that it created a large bowl. And now, fortunately, there was a way down, but as I looked at it and I thought, well, if those cliffs, and I mean those cliffs were high and just straight up, if those cliffs had gone all the way around and someone had been stuck in the center, they would have probably thought it was impossible to be delivered. Sometimes we're in a valley like that. Sometimes loneliness can be one of the things that we struggle with whether God can remove. Lonely people will do incredible things, and unfortunately some very, very sad things, to try and change that loneliness, and can, as a result, create consequences because of their actions in trying to get away from their loneliness that torment them the rest of their life and leave them being even more alone. Depression. Depression can be a storm, a valley, a demonic oppression that can cause people to believe that it's never going to change. You see, the list of this darkness is endless. Every scenario of darkness that can happen to man is there. So I guess the question I want to ask you, and the last one for this, do you understand that these two men that came to Jesus and that Jesus asked this question, they had spent their life in darkness. They were physically blind. When Jesus asked them, do you think I can do this? What he's asking them is, do you think I can bring you light? Do you think I can remove your darkness and give you light? Well, let me ask you this. Do you believe that Jesus can remove the darkness in your life? The answer should be, yes, Lord. When that answer is that, then I think that the response is very similar to what Jesus does here. He stops. He reaches out, and somehow or in some form of his power, he opens our eyes and lets the light flood in. You see, the world around these two men did not change when their eyes were open. What changed was the two men. Love you, Steers Chapel.